Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classics of Cinematics, man. This is the show where we talk about the films that shaped and warped our childhoods, man. Join as always with my co-host, we got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo.
Yeah, folks, and today we got a banger, man. I guess it's timely. We decided to bring this one up because we got a sequel coming out to this wildly popular film from the mid-'80s, and we're going to be talking about Top Gun, which was released May 16th, 1986. So this was a summertime, blockbuster film, directed by Tony Scott. It stars Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, Anthony Edwards, Tom Skerritt. Got a bunch of other people in here. Meg Ryan, Tim Robbins pops up in here.
You got my man Mike Ironside.
Yeah, Mike Ironside. Yeah, he stands out a lot, man. Yeah, dude. And it's crazy. Tom Skerritt, man. It's funny. He has that look. Like, he's in a lot of stuff, man. But also, shout out to Clarence Gilliard. Didn't have a lot of speaking time, but they made sure they included a black pilot in the training program. But the story goes as this, man. The Top Gun Naval Fighter Weapons School is where the best of the best train to refine their elite flying skills. When hotshot fighter pilot Maverick, played by Tom Cruise, is sent to the school, his reckless attitude and cocky demeanor put him at odds with the other pilots, especially the cool and collected Iceman. But Maverick isn't only competing to be the top fighter pilot, he's also fighting for the attention of his beautiful flight instructor, Charlotte Blackwood, played by Kelly McGillis. And yeah, man, this is a crazy movie, man. Inspired a crazy sequel that I'm highly anticipating seeing.
Most definitely.
Before we get into it, I do want to point out, man, like after this film came out, we got a lot of low budget flight inspired films, even sci-fi. What was that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure which came out first, but I remember like Flight of the Intruder, and then you had the Iron Eagle series.
I was gonna say, we had a couple Apache helicopter joints. Is that the Iron Eagle?
Iron Eagle was with Lou Gossett and the little kid.
Okay.
And Blue Thunder was the chopper joint.
Okay.
Yeah, but they flying was going off after this thing hit out, man.
Absolutely.
Everybody was trying to capitalize and do these type of films, man.
Yeah.
But what stands out about this, man?
To me, I mean, first and foremost, you got the cast. I mean, this cast is all the way jam packed with notable names today. You know what I'm saying? When we looked at this cast in '86, some of these guys were still making names for themselves and getting their headway, but ultimately, to me, the star of this movie is the jets, the aerial scenes, all the fight scenes, and the choreography, the stunt guys that were driving these planes. Because like when I watch this film, I mean, it has a lot to offer. But every time they put us in the cockpit, that's when I get on the edge of my seat, and that's when I'm like really engaged in what's going on. I mean, the camera work when you're watching these fight scenes. I mean, it's like you're in the cockpit with them. It feels like you're up in the air with them. And up until I saw this film, I never had such a close encounter to fighter jets. For me in my personal life, you know what I mean? Like I didn't really see them flying around in real life or go to a lot of airplane shows or things of that nature. Made it to a couple later on in life, but this was my first, fighter jet experience, and I think that this film did a great job in giving us all of that.
We'll go back a little bit to the cast, and it's crazy, man, because this is Tom Cruise. This is early. He's not. He's on his way, but I don't think he's the man just yet. I don't know, dude.
He was in the Outsiders. That's true.
I could be talking crazy because I'm looking at some of this other stuff. And Outsiders, he wasn't really the man yet. Losing it, okay. Risky Business. Definitely put him on the radar.
Yeah, man.
All the right moves. He's getting up there. Legend, he's getting up there. But I think Top Gun was like, all right. Man, the Top Gun was probably like the test. Like we're throwing all this money at you. We're letting you lead, because he wasn't even the lead in Legend. We're letting you lead, and we're gonna see what this does. This is an experiment, and after that, it was over, man. Because this thing was a hit. And you got Color of Money, Cocktail, Rain Man, Born on 4th of July, Days of Thunder, Few Good Men. the firm, and it was just bangers.
And then,
you know,
the mission that would led to the Mission Impossible saga. You know, I mean, come on, and every one of those numbers, bro.
Yeah, but then also being surrounded by the other talent that I think is great, man. It's funny because Anthony Edwards is unrecognizable now, but I think out of all the characters in this movie, he steals every scene that he's in, man. He's playing Goose, who's Maverick's co-pilot. I think they call him the Rio man. I'm not sure what the terms are for the naval thing. I think maybe radar, you know, whatever operator.
Yeah, he's the one who sits backwards, like Tom Cruise is driving. He's the one who watches the rear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in their plane setup, they're both facing forward, but there are ones where the guys they're back to back.
Okay.
You know, because it leads into how he died. But everyone else is cool. It's weird though because you know the synopsis mentions this Val Kilmer rivalry, and then it was kind of weak as a rivalry. This is it. You just look at each other funny, and there was not really a lot of dialogue there going on.
Competition. They both wanted to be number one. Yeah. But see, I'm glad that you bring him up because not for nothing. Like for
I wasn't sold with that rivalry. It just felt like something they threw in at the end. Like.
Right. With me though, I like what Val Kilmer brought to the table. He was probably my favorite character in this film. Do you know what I'm saying? Outside of what we get from Cruise and from Anthony Edwards, I liked Val Kilmer's demeanor. You know what I'm saying? Like he was so you know, like arrogant with it, like, but you know how like that's like if Jordan is walking on the basketball court with other basketball players, knowing he's gonna smoke their boots, like he had one of the coolest nicknames, Iceman. Like I mean,
but he wasn't that cool. I guess maybe he was, but
I thought he was cool because he was unfazed. Like Tom Cruise was a little more like
edgy. It felt a little forced, man. Like for me, it seemed like his biggest rival was himself. They just threw Val in there just to you know dress it up a little bit more, like, you know what I'm saying. But you know, but it comes around. But the thing that got me rewatching this that blew me away was how much of this film was really the romance, and that's the most of this movie. And at the time, I was like, I don't remember it being like this, but rewatching it, that's exactly what's going on, dude. Because you know we got the most of the in-flight stuff is they're in this pilot school, they're training, so it's all running drills, you know, and then once that's over, then he goes out and then he's trying to court this flight instructor who he finds out is the instructor, which is kind of messy, you know what I'm saying? But
I mean, his approach out the gate was messy.
But at the same time, the way it's unfolding, it was working on me. Like I found myself trying to see where that even went between the chat, and I'm like, yo, what is going on with this movie? Because I feel like a movie like this would just get laughed at and thrown away just because we're so much more cynical now as moviegoers. We're kind of mean, you know. We're not going to tolerate this. If the sequel can't go down like this, the upcoming sequel, we're not going to tolerate it because it's so blatantly playing with our emotions and manipulation. But it's also a fun courtship. It's just like a forbidden. You know they shouldn't even be messing around.
And they touch on that. You know, but then the cool thing is it's a buffet of like,
it's,
you know,
the sexual tension, the awkwardness, and they're still trying to do this in secret. Like, it's like,
and like I said, I mean, you that's what makes this movie work so well. Is like I said, it's a buffet line of, you know, intriguing entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get the action with all the fighter jets. You get the whole like, you know, the rivalry between, you know, Cruise and Val, but then you also get this romance, and then that led to, you know, I don't know what numbers this movie soundtrack pulled, but I'm sure. I mean, every time him and the young lady are together, they drop another song. You know what I'm saying?
So that's the thing that's going on, and you could tell like they sell it, dude. I got to give props to Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise. They sell it. You know that they definitely want to get together and do the thing. But they're reluctant. They don't want to be so obvious. They immediately, you know, they're highly attracted to each other. But they're both doing that bullshit where they're trying to feign like, well, I'm not really interested. Like the funniest part that got me, dude, when they came off of that one training mission and she was criticizing his flying, and I was like, yo, what's going on? Why is he being a dick like that? And
then he revs there, I can't hear you.
And then he rolls out. I was like, yo, he's in his feelings.
The trippy thing though is that she hops in her little sports car and she's driving that junk just as fast as his motorbike.
That's the funniest part. That's why I was
and
like,
he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You crazy?"
But that's the messiness and the fun of it that I don't think would fly with today's audiences and critics. But in this thing, it's working. I'm sitting there and I'm laughing as it's going down because as soon as he rolled outside, I was like, "Oh, he couldn't take the criticism." And then when she hopped in her car, dude, I hollered. I was like, it's like she's not gonna take that shit either. And then the kiss, and then the fucking music drops. It's like, it was great.
I mean, and there's so many cool moments like that. Like even like when he finally first actually gets her to agree to a date. I guess it would be a dinner, because he ends up going to her house after after they made volleyball look like, I mean, hey, no disrespect to anyone who plays volleyball, but like I've never seen in any other film anyone make volleyball look so cool. They even had a cool handshake.
Cool to me, dude. It didn't look cool to me. I was looking at that. I was like, look at these bammers, yo. And that was what I was thinking. I was like, my man sweating, no shirt.
No shirt, but how you got on jeans though? And then all that sand.
And I was like, man, he hops on a motorcycle, drives straight around. I was like, you sweaty bastard. Like, how
but then like has the wherewithal right when he walks in, and you can tell he got there late because she looked frustrated. He was like, so I was thinking I'm gonna just go ahead and take a shower real quick. This is your first time at her house. And then once she starts like letting her guard down, he kind of tries to woo her a little bit. He's like, I really had a lot of fun. Now I'm gonna go take a shower. You see what I'm saying? And then he leaves and stuff, and then they have the next situation where they're in the elevator.
Because when he leaves, I felt like him saying I need a shower was more like you heard that term before, like, yo man, you need to take a cold shower, bro. Like it wasn't more about his cleanliness than this is going too fast.
The second time he needs to cool off.
Even like it's so well acted and presented, like when he leaves, you can see her frustration. She's like, damn it. I was like, I almost got some.
That's what I'm saying. When he made that shower reference, definitely he had to cool off. But the first one, it was like, nah, man, you got that volleyball beach stink all over you.
But it works, man. Like I said, because it keeps you on the edge. And think about this: we've done nothing yet. There's not really much playing plot. Other than they're in flight school, there's no immediate danger. There's no. It's just these two courting, playing around. You're messing with your superior. It's like you getting involved with the professor at the college, like, and
that's all we get at this point in the film. We've seen three things: his friendship with Goose, so that's his man, his rider, and they rocking for each other. That's great. We've seen some badass jets flying around in the air. We heard the danger zone, probably twice by this point.
That zone comes up a lot, bro.
And we know that they checking for each other. That outside of that,
so then one of the big things that stands out to me is you gotta have more motivations than that. So that goes down. They have their the moment like everybody's been waiting for. I'm pretty sure like everyone's watching this the kiss, but then. So after that, the wild part is when my man Goose, man, like I'm telling you, Goose was like my favorite character just because he's always had a funny line to say. His mood was always up. He had my man's back. Yeah. They're training, and it's weird because one of their fellow well, actually, before that, dude, this is the
very beginning.
So they had they've got some pretty cool moments going on with the training, like the one pilot that loses it. And
that was before they were even in Top Gun school, though.
Yeah. And then and Maverick, he's about to land, but he lands and he takes off again to go help this fellow pilot come back in. And I thought that was cool. That kind of
against orders. This dude couldn't follow rules for shit.
Yeah, but it's also a testament to his character, man. He could have followed the rules, but he saw that this guy needed help, and he helps bring him in. But at the same time, that not paying attention to the rules, it comes back later when Goose goes down, man. Because he's, the competition element is crazy. I felt it more in the air than on the ground, because on the ground it just felt like with Kilmer, they just doing the shit. But in the air, that's when you felt it. Like
that's when they elevated
the slick remarks.
Yes.
And basically, one guy is pursuing this other plane, and he's taking his time to line up and take out the target because it's all simulation. They're not really firing live rounds. And then Maverick's trying to score points with the instructors. He's like, man, get out the way. I could get the shot. The dude's like, chill. So what ends up happening, because they're so close, and Maverick's like, I'm going in. And he goes in too close, and his plane gets caught up in the other plane's exhaust, and it throws him off. His plane starts spinning.
Yeah, man.
Which is like, and the thing, like, you're dealing with when this thing starts, the G-forces, they're basically pinned. He's like, pull the stick, and Maverick can't even reach the controller because the G-forces got his hands pinned. So their last hope is Goose, and Goose hits the overhead joint.
Yep.
And there's a malfunction. His
neck snap.
The cockpit doesn't clear, so he's ejected right into the cockpit. And I thought that was really well shot. Speaking on the cinematography on here, I thought it would be a lot more like models and stuff like that. There are some, but there's a lot of like real aerial shots of these planes flying around and maneuvering, and I think that adds to make you feel like you're in there. I feel like the cockpit shots are mostly fake, but the exterior views, like them joints is really well done, dude.
And to your point too, right before they show us, when Goose ends up losing his life due to the malfunction and all that stuff.
Oh, they set us up too.
Because he makes reference to Tom Cruise at two different points before this about how they need to chill out, and he's gonna rock with him regardless. He was like, but man, look, I got a kid, my wife, woo. And then we finally get to see him interact with his wife.
That's like the manipulation right there. So that's the filmmaking manipulation.
They always, man,
we're gonna show you the family.
Yes, man. They pump up the basketball, make sure that it's nice and full before they dribble you out. Throw you out of bounds.
That's the classic movie trope. Like the one character that's having, like, it's like the dude in Black Dynamite. He's like, man, I can't wait till this is over, man. I'm gonna go home and chill with my wife and kids. And he stab him, he gets smeared.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what they did to Goose.
They did this same situation wise a few times in this film, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man, it just
Goose was the main.
Goose, that was the one that hurt. It's like, damn, you just seen how happy they was. They were just at the bar singing Great Balls of Fire. My man playing the piano, everyone's happy. You know what I'm saying? Meg Ryan, looking all nice.
Little quick roll in
and they were just real happy. And the next thing
they had to set us up, and then next thing,
and ultimately,
and of course our guys blaming themselves. Which kind of it is.
I mean, but that's the thing. Up until this point, you know what I'm saying, there was like 2 or 3 other situations that happened where not only Goose, but other people are like, bro, you're reckless. You know what I'm saying? The way that you're doing things, it's selfish. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to prove something to yourself outside of,
Well, that's the thing too. We find out his dad was a pilot, and so they don't know what happened to him. They just know he went down in combat, but they don't know how. So he feels like he's got those shoes to fill. But at the same time, like, just being one of these pilots anyway, they are expected to push the limits at times. But apparently what the school's trying to teach you is you got to know when to push them limits and when not to.
And you don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't never leave your wingman. You don't surpass nobody. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? If we rocking together, we're rocking together. And that's the thing. Like, yes, he's battling his demons. He's fighting his ghosts. But you don't bring other people into that fight unless they're fully aware of what's going on.
Yeah, there's one thing if it's just you, but the way his plane is, like to point out, he's driving, flying an F-14 Tomcat. And he has a co-pilot in there with him. I know jets, bro. I love you don't even understand why I love this movie.
I run off what that was. To me, I'm just going to say it's a jet.
Played a lot of Ace Combat. all the training jets, those are F4s. So, dude, I know that they flying the Russian MiGs. But
and the thing is he knew Goose was going to rock with him regardless. And that's also what made me kind of, just dislike his character just a little bit.
It is because he's putting Goose at a risk. Because
you took the loyalty and the friendship that this man had, knowing he was going to ride with you, and then you drove him right into his own demise. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, that is kind of messed up. I do want to point out though, when I look at this, the cast though, who's my man that's just also there that I didn't even know was there? Adrian Pasdar, right here on the I think he's on a wall in the back, and he just walked away. And like, you would know him later from being on Heroes. He was one of the main characters. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny that he was in this movie back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, bro. Yeah, I love Michael Ironside too. As he's one of the more.
He's great.
One of the trainers. Yeah.
Not for nothing. Just since we're ringing off all this. I love all their cool fighter pilot nicknames. They got some of their coolest nicknames. You got Iceman, you got Maverick, obviously. But then, I mean, there's one dude, his name is Merlin. There's another dude, his name is Jester, Viper. They all got the cool helmets.
Why a black man named Sundown, though?
Like, you know, I noticed that. I wasn't.
Because it's dark.
I saw that. I was like,
I've heard of sundown towns.
Yeah, I noticed that when we were looking at the cast. I thought in my head, I said, "Then that's really effed up." But I'm not. I don't want to be the one to bring that.
Slider, like there's some weird names in there. Chipper,
but you know what? It was kind of cool though, because like the way they they would have their helmets, and the art on their helmet would match their nicknames.
It's funny because I did see the dude. Cool, my man had the butt cheeks on the side of his head.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that was wild,
it was,
bro.
You know, and I thought that was really cool, man.
Did they let you do that in the weird thing is though, I want to point out too is this is the Navy, and a lot of people don't know, man. Like the Navy might be a bit more iller than the Air Force, because with the Navy aerial program, you know, a lot of those planes are designed to take off from the carriers and you know, and other kinds of ships, man. So their aviation wing is pretty elite. Like, you know, plus taking off and landing from those things, it's like I feel like it's a higher level of piloting than
what land on a big boat in the middle
what
of
the Air Force is dealing with.
Nice.
And the Navy pilots probably see more action because those boats they're able to get places a lot faster. You know, with Air Force, typically you got to have a base on places, so like it's different. Way different.
And not for nothing too. I mean, this film it runs at about 2 hours. It gives us almost a little under 2 hours.
At an hour 43.
Yeah, close to it. I'm just happy because, like you said, a lot of the film, almost like the first, maybe we'll say 65-70%, is all just, you know, skill training and them going through this program. But then we do get that small glimpse of real-time action when they actually get, you know, engaged in aerial combat.
It's interesting because
I'm happy that they did that, bro. They had to do that.
But what are the chances that the day you graduate, you ain't even went to sleep yet, and you already got a mission? He's like, he's like, hey, fellas, before you get too wild up, we got a situation.
They didn't even have time to spike the punch, bro. Like, right after they walk the stage, they're getting letters like, oh, yeah, by the way.
It's that movie magic, man. It's that movie magic, bro.
And then, of course, like, you could tell, you know, like, they were fighting, I want to say, what, in the 80s, we were still, you know, engulfed in the situation
like
with
Russians,
the Russians that got the
Russians,
Red Star going on, you know, and that was... I
think they was in the Middle East, though, so, like, they were kind of around, they said it was in the Indian Ocean, so I think they were, you know, maybe Afghanistan or whatever. Like but definitely, you know.
But you know what? That's kind of also what, you know, helped this film level up, because, you know, other than that, it's just all simulated, you know, engagement. So it was cool that they did that. And then it's a quick strike too. I mean, it's the last 20 minutes of the film. Bang, 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 like, bang, bang. And then, you know, by this point, we already see that we see Iceman he won. He obviously is the top gun. He's head of his class because you know, after Goose died, Maverick quit.
You gotta take that lick, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, he
was real. Like, I'm just looking at these two kissing. That was real sloppy dog. That wasn't a movie magic.
They was locking.
That was some real. They probably did more than that in real life.
Hey, who knows? Hey, why not?
On the
set. But yeah, man. I thought that was really cool, and then it also helps, you know, Maverick's character elevate. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. Like, that's where it shows that, you know, simulated engagement in any form of life.
I will say
nothing like the real deal.
It's a good sandwich, but it's a lot of cheese on a lot of levels on this joint, bro. If you love
as a matter of fact, there ain't even no meat. This is grilled cheese.
That's some meat. It's some meat, but they got about 4 slices on this joint. Because even with that, like, I love it. because it's so predictable now, having seen so many movies. But at the time, I can see how this is going to get you, because now, they're going on this last mission. They reluctantly call Maverick's name. And even Val Kilmer's like, "You sure about this, Captain?" Or so, I don't know the ranks, but it's like, "Yeah, he's good," blah blah blah. Even it's funny because the one dude is like, "Well, if they don't even give you a co-pilot," it's like, "I'll be your pilot." Like,
because then you find out like the one who's running the program actually flew with his.
And this is how crazy. Like, this is how I know it's
Hollywood is a wonderful place.
This is how I know it's funny to me. They don't even send Maverick out. He's waiting on standby.
Yeah, he ain't even a starter. He on the bench,
which is great. And then they get out there and they send 2 jets out, and all of a sudden like 5 MiGs jump them.
Yeah, and the one dude, who was it? Was it Wolfman? I think it was Wolfman and his guy. They end up
they get shot down.
But they escape though. They're.
But it's funny to me. It's like get up there, Maverick. And then even that's not the end of it. It's so funny because this is where the movie magic comes in. Yeah. All of a sudden, my man Maverick, he's shaky. He can't focus.
And then he's holding gooses. His little dog tag. He's like, "Talk to me, goose."
Yo, that was the funniest. I almost spit out my drink when that happened, dog. I was like, "Yo, this motherfucker, he's looking at talk to me, goose."
You know what I'm saying? And we get to hear the danger zone for like the 6th time. Oh man, I'm telling you,
this joint, the music carries so many scenes, yo. Like, dude, that Take My Breath. And then Danger Zone. I forgot. I don't know if that other song at the end was original. There's another joint that comes in.
When the movie starts, you get that score, that right? But then it converts immediately into the danger zone, right out the gate. And I was like, "Whoa, this is how they're gonna switch gears on us." Mm-hmm. Like we gonna go from 0 to 100 in the first 5 minutes. The credits ain't even done rolling yet. The sun ain't even come all the way up. I mean, the planes is taking off. It's still what do they call it? Sunrise. It ain't dusk. Dawn. Mm-hmm. Dusk till dawn. Dusk. I think is the first. Whichever one. Yeah. Man. Danger Zone Part 1, and then you get it like 3-4 more times, man, and we definitely got it at the end when Maverick saves the day.
Yeah, dude. So this thing, this thing they said, let me see if they got numbers on this thing. This soundtrack was so crazy. Let me see. I guess they got some of the music from the thing on here, but the big thing is going to be
of Broken Wings.
They got Power of Love on this joint too,
man.
Wow, because a lot of these weren't made specifically for the movie. They were all songs that already
Great
existed.
Balls of Fire. I mean,
Take My Breath Away is definitely
that was made for this. Danger Zone made for this.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Especially Danger Zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. This thing probably went multi-platinum.
Big time. Yeah, and I think this was probably right before the CD era, so everybody was still getting this on vinyl.
This joint hit #1 for 5 consecutive weeks in the summer and autumn of '86. It was the best-selling soundtrack of '86 and one of the best-selling of all time, dude.
Yeah. You know how many people probably turned into parents by '87 due to that soundtrack. Watching this movie.
Yo, they said Toto was originally intended to do Danger Zone, bro. I couldn't even imagine.
No way. Wow. I can't even see that. Wow. You know what? I would like to hear him do a cover though.
That's crazy, man. Wow. Yeah, dude. Yeah, so this thing went 5 times platinum, dude, in Canada.
Hey.
It went gold in Finland, 2 times platinum in France. This thing sold mad units, bro.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It was 9 times platinum in the United States. This is probably one of the biggest records ever made.
Man.
Wow, dude.
Welcome to the Danger Zone.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. My man, he's hit the goose, but he accomplished his mission. He shakes his nerves and
welcome me, goose.
Yeah.
And I don't know the significance. I'm not, that aware of what goes on in planes, but I thought you had to keep that mask on to breathe.
It helps.
He takes the mask off.
I think it helps at higher altitudes. And there's things that happen when you're at higher altitudes. The oxygen, because think about those jets too, because of the G forces. Like in order to fly these planes effectively, like when you're pulling certain maneuvers, there's certain ways you gotta breathe so you don't black out. You know, just because you're pitting hard turns, like it puts limits on what human pilots can ultimately do. Like to the point where sometimes these jets are more capable than what the pilots can do, man. So it's kind of interesting going into this future world that we are. Like eventually you're going to just have a lot of these jets just being flown by remotely. You know, they're going to be drones. You know, and they're going to be someone sitting somewhere with an Xbox controller, and it would definitely be like it would seem like the most logical progression. But there are things that human pilots definitely need to do. But conceivably, like I said, you'd be able to pull off more maneuvers and do more with the planes by flying them remotely than having a guy actually sitting in the cockpit.
I would love to see the modern day remake. I mean, you got two, you know, your top flight gamers like, you know, Maverick and Iceman.
It's like, going on, dude. It goes on. But that's the thing that
hey.
I mean, just for me being heavily into this jet stuff, like I said, I love playing that Ace Combat series of games, man. Project Wingman, same kind of stuff. But this thing is such an artifact of the 80s, man. And honestly, for all the intents and purposes, the cheese and all that, it's still one of the best, man. Like watching this, I'm like, dude, there's no reason this film should work and have been what it was, but it because of what it was, man. Like I had an ex. She wasn't born here. She came here, I think somewhere early 90s, mid 90s, but she said she learned English watching this movie. She had the VHS and watching this story over and over. And I'm just like, the story is so, like, it's such a universally appealing story that even someone whose English is not their first language can see what's going on with, like, it's one of them perfect films, man. I'm not saying it's perfect, but if we're looking for something that has the most amount of mass appeal, that's giving something to every kind of film viewer, this is one of those things.
It is one. I mean, now me personally, like this one would not be, you know, like all the way up on my list, but that's just because, you know, I am intrigued and interested in other, you know, other things that I like to see on film. But this film is definitely monumental, and I mean,
for a product,
it's worth its weight in
for a product that's designed to be, like I said, it's designed to have the most appeal and deliver to the mainstream. It's not really pushing anything or doing anything particularly extra well, but it's doing everything good enough, and it's not ignoring any aspect of your audience. And it's just delivering a solid entertainment, dude.
And the thing is, it's also not doing anything bad. I mean, this is one of those films that
volleyball scene might be the
worst. Yeah. But you know what, though? I mean, I guess at that point in time, people were playing volleyball shirtless in mini dungarees. I guess
again, you're giving something to the lady audience that might be dragging into this that might not give a damn. But, you know, you're like, oh shit.
You know, we come across, you know, films like this once in a blue moon.
And of course, Meg Ryan is all like sympathetic instead of "you got my husband killed."
Yeah,
like,
this is what we would consider one of those tone setter films, like you said. Like, I mean, films like this, like Jaws, or you know, Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's designed for blockbuster.
These are certain films that will then, you know, spark these thoughts in other people's minds or other directors, where they're like, you know what, I need to try my version of that.
This is what a lot of film studios try to do now and put out summer films, something that's going to make the money and appeal. But somewhere along the line, I think I blame us, man, because like I said, if you put this film out now in its exact state it is, and just put the modern technology, modern film, so it doesn't look so old and all that, it's not going to hit the same because we as audience have just outgrown this. Like this is early days of what movies are getting in people's homes. Even the people who didn't see this in theaters, they probably saw it on cable or they rented it, and it just remained a hit. But I don't think you can make this same film now. Like, you got to do so much more differently now to have the same appeal in your film.
Thinking about it, just to give the other side of the coin to that comment, this film would hit if no other films were like this before. I mean, this was still the tone setter of this style of film. You see what I'm saying? So if nobody's never been exposed to it,
I just think we're dicks, man. Like even the critical, like we're just not built the same as we were back then, man. Like there's elements of this film that are just going to get ate up by the critical eyes that we have. Now.
I mean, obviously, I mean, some of
we're not going to tolerate.
We would have to scrape a few of the layers of the cheese off. Yeah. Okay. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not.
Another film that I like that everyone hates. I love Stealth, dude. Like for one of the Jets, I love the Jets, but then the idea that because that's where the natural progression, like I was talking about. We're going to get to the point where no one's flying these planes, like as far as being in them flying them. They're going to be drones. And that film is experimenting with, okay, what if that drone goes wrong? And the thing got hit by lightning and the computer became self-aware on some Terminator shit. And it was a rogue machine out there flying around, like causing havoc, and they had to stop it.
And I mean, to your point, like that's what made this film, stand out and be so successful is because it doesn't just appeal to people that like, jets or aerial combat. It's just like, trying to convince somebody who is, a pacifist or totally against war, how great of a war movie Apocalypse Now is. They're not going to watch.
But that's what I'm saying now. Like, if you put a film like this out now, the criticism will be, oh, we didn't need this romance element. And I'm like, this film needed it, and this film benefited from that. But now you can't do that. Like, nowadays, when we put a romantic and leading films, a lot of people be like, oh, that film's forced, or why'd you have to wedge that in? Why couldn't they just like that? That's a lot of criticism in a lot of films nowadays. So that means we've changed as an audience where we're not in the era where this film could come out as it is and still rock, Hey,
man. Well, the thing is, I mean, you gotta look at movies just like the same way you look at dinner, man. Your main course still needs complimentary sides. You know what I'm saying? No one just puts a burger on their plate without fries or onion rings or something, or steak without no potatoes or rice or something.
Yeah, but this
film has all the complimentary sides as well.
Yeah, but we see it all the time, dude. I'm just saying,
films are the ones that probably get cooked on the other show.
This would not work today, man. We're different, dude. We're way different. And that's the benefit of doing this show. Like when we're looking at these things, we're remembering how we saw them, but we're also watching them now again with the eyes that we have now. Yes. And I can remember, what was going on in that era to realize why this worked. But Absolutely. I also know what the climate is like now, what the temperature is now, and why things wouldn't fly.
But like I said, without this film being made and without people being exposed to this, then people just took a good thing and found ways to make it better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's
but see, so now we got the sequel on the way, and there probably ain't gonna be no romance in this new one. It's probably just gonna be him dealing with that new class of pilots.
It's gonna be a whole bunch of fighter pilots.
But from what I've been hearing, people are having a blast, dude. The critical reviews on this thing are through the roof right now, and I'm really excited for this movie. And I predict, I'm hoping it does well because I predicted it's gonna do well, and I don't want to they'll be out here like, dang, Monk don't know what he's talking about. I hope it delivers, man, and I hope that it does well at the box office too, man. Like my prediction was $1 billion, but I don't know. I don't know what the climate is now.
Sure. I mean,
on one hand, you got a lot of people that have fond memories of it that would go to see this, like people's dads and older uncles, and they're going to be going to see this, man.
That's where I feel like this is leaning more towards the crowd of individuals that were around for the first wave.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's the same reason why Transformers, the first one, hit so heavy, because it wasn't to bring something new to the younger generations. It was to make sure that everybody that remembered the cartoon could see them in live action. And then that's kind of like the crowd it was hitting. Anybody else who's along for the ride, by all means.
And also, man, just for me, man, I feel like Tom Cruise is like one of the last classic movie stars alive, dude. Like the way he did it was just different than anybody, man. It's interesting because I was listening to the what is it called though? The Will Smith autobiography, and he was talking about when he first got in the game, and they had this event at one of the first Planet Hollywood is to open Hollywood Planet Hollywoods, and he said he walked in there and he was invited, saw Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and Stallone chilling, and he kind of just ran up on him, and it's like, yo, how can I be like you guys? And they said it was really awkward. It was quiet at first, and then it's like they both kind of looked at Arnold like, yo, give him the answer, and Arnold was like, yo, you gotta do it all. You've got to, go to the appearances. You got to sign every autograph. You got to do all the promo. And the interesting thing about it, Will Smith said, that's what I did. And I think that was the secret to my success. If the film was premiering in England, I'm going to go to England. I'm going to hit all the rounds of all the thing. Mm-hmm. And one thing he said about that, he was like, and I was killing it. He's like, I was doing more than Bruce Schwarzenegger and Stallone was doing. But the one guy I could not keep up with, and I don't know how this dude found time to do it, was Tom Cruise, who lived his career the same way, man. This dude just even recently, he did a premiere somewhere and flew the helicopter himself to the event. And I'm like, This guy's like one of the last, like really, like the real thing, man. Regardless of how you feel about his personal life and all that and the weirdness, but he's one of the last people that's doing it like that. And I think a lot of people right now are, betting against him or underestimating, the interest that he could bring to a project. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. I'm rooting for this new film.
Hey, man, we got a couple days to find out.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is going to be next week, so, But that's probably when you're going to be seeing this around that time.
I was playing it forward.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dang. I fucked it up. I'm going to edit that. Yeah, but I think that's it, man. I do want to mention Tony Scott, too, man, the director, man. Like, this guy's a legend, bro. Like, and he did this in 86, and the only other film he directed before this was The Hunger. I haven't seen that. I think that's David Bowie in that, maybe. Yeah, it is. Catherine. Like I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's a vampire film. But then after this, he does Beverly Hills Cop 2. He does a film called Revenge. Then he does Days of Thunder, which is essentially Top Gun on NASCAR.
On NASCAR,
if you think about it.
Yes.
He did The Last Boy Scout.
And I love The Last Boy Scout.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh man, that one's definitely going to be one of my picks. We're gonna talk about that.
I saw that in the 99 Cent Theater. I don't remember much about it, but I remember True Romance, another big one.
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino's script. One of his first writing things, and Tony Scott directed that, made it a classic. He also did Crimson Tide, which is a dope movie. Gene Hackman, Denzel. He did a lot of work with Denzel. Then he did The Fan.
Big fan of The Fan.
Enemy of the State with Will Smith, dude. Like these guys work with all the hits, man.
It's A-listers.
Spy Game.
There's an A-lister in almost every one of his movies.
Spy Game, which brought him back with Brad Pitt again because Brad Pitt's in True Romance. Also, Robert Redford is in that Spy Game. Man on Fire, which is, to me, that's my favorite Denzel joint. I don't know, like it's crazy, bro. Domino, which is another great film.
That is a real
that's probably the last good thing Mickey Rourke was in. Deja Vu, which is another great
good Denzel joint. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he got a lot of Denzel. Taking a Pelham, 1, 2, 3, and Unstoppable. And 18. Yeah, I haven't seen 18, but he did Unstoppable. Short films, but yeah, man, like this thing was it's great, man. Great people, great film. It's just wild.
Yeah, man.
But I think that's it, man. We could probably wrap this up, folks, man. And we're gonna catch you next time, man. Buy some shirts, man. You know what I'm saying? The link is in the video. Follow our Instagram page. That's also in the bottom of this video. And we're going to catch you next time, man. Just keep watching. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Like under the numbers. We're getting good response right now, man. Tell your friends about us. And yeah, that's it, man. You can catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Follow the show at Classics of Cinematics on Instagram.
Yep. It's Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me on Instagram at Bobby Blockbuster 118. And since I can't give y'all, a thumbs up for watching, I'm going to just do that thing right now. Bang.
Oh, the camera's over there. All right, folks, man, we out of here.